Hi, welcome to Knitting Downsized. My name is Katie, and this is a podcast about knitting, family, and living in a camper as a family of four with a little doggie. Maggie May, our doggie, is out, and our neighbors have just gotten home. Her best friend lives next door, and he is out, and she can see him and wants to play with him. So fair warning, you'll probably hear her clicking around and maybe even whining to get out to see him, but dogs have to be on leashes here, so I can't have her out just running around. So, well, thanks for stopping by today and joining us in the podcast. Do head over to Instagram and follow me over there. I post a picture or two every week about camper life and about what my knitting is doing as the week goes on. It is Knitting Downsized on Instagram. Like and follow here and subscribe if you're interested in that kind of thing. So this is my fifth podcast, I think. Yeah, my fifth podcast, and I still don't have a rhythm down. So I don't think I ever will, but it's okay with me. So, first off, I am so excited. I have a finished object. I'm wearing a finished object. This is my heavily modified rocket tee by Tanis, Lavallee. I'm hoping that's how you say it right. I took it out of the protector this week. So I had two skeins of worsted superwash from my friends over at Swamp Bunny Fiber, and they gave me 3 skeins of Surrey alpaca. So I had kind of a limited supply of yarn to make this sweater. I had tons of Surrey. I probably could have made the sweater twice over with Surrey, but I wanted to make a tee because it's so amazing. It's like golden lusciousness. I'm trying really, really hard not to pet myself because this is going to go on the YouTubes. So this is, like I said, heavily modified. So I used a worsted and the Surrey. The Surrey, I believe, it was an old lace weight, so it was probably like a fingering weight Surrey. So this is probably a chunky weight. I did it on 9 millimeter, or not 9 millimeter, US 9s. So it still created a really nice fabric. I'm going to stand up and show you guys. So I wanted a tee so I could wear it under my, my overalls, because I love overalls, and my high-waisted jeans. So as you can tell, I ran out. I didn't have enough to do any more rows lengthwise, so I just held the Surrey twice, or I'm sorry, double, to do the ribbing, which I kind of like. It did create kind of, I don't know if you can tell, it created kind of like a little bulge there, and I even went down a needle size, so I probably could have gone down 2 to keep it from doing that. But I think that's just the nature of how floofy the Surrey is compared to the, when it was with the worsted. I used almost all of it. I probably had like 2 yards left of the worsted superwash. So I use, instead of doing ribbing, which I kind of like this effect that it has, I just doubled, once again, the Surrey, and did about 5 or 6 rows, the amount of rows that I would have done for ribbing. And it kind of creates that look that there is kind of an edge there instead of doing actual ribbing, and then it's tight on my huge muscle biceps. So I love this sweater. It took me, I think, just right at a week to do, and I love it. The construction is amazing. She did an amazing job on designing this sweater. Like I said, I heavily modified it, but I used all of her numbers. So because I used a chunky weight yarn, I just went down, I think, 3 sizes, because the pattern I have is the Rocket Tee DK. So I just went down 3 sizes and used all those numbers, and went from there. So I did everything as far as the raglan increases, the yoke, or not the yoke, sorry, the raglan increases. I did all of that according to pattern, and it's very smart. It's very cool how it all comes together. I've always done V-necks from the bottom up, and I have never done one from the top down. It's definitely a sweater that I would like to try in a DK and maybe a cotton. I have a Rowan that I could probably hold double and to make a little tee, or even, I would like it to be a little bit longer, but I really, really, really like it. And I encourage you, if you haven't tried Surrey, I definitely encourage you to try it. The skein that I have, and I think most 100-gram skeins are a little over 400 yards, so it goes pretty far away. I think I used one, and then I think I have about 1.5 left. So you're going to see lots of Surrey projects in the future. It is kind of a golden color, so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might make my daughter a sweater, but she'll probably just get food all over it. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a hat or something like that. And I do apologize about the sun. It's literally coming right in the corner of our door, and this is the only time that I've had to podcast today. So it's been kind of a crazy week. More about that in a minute. So definitely recommend the pattern. The pattern is so well written. It was really easy for me to understand. I like patterns because I have two littles. I like patterns that I can kind of memorize quickly, and then I can just keep doing those steps to get the desired effect or the length that it doesn't change a whole lot. It's hard for me to have a complicated project when I'm trying to knit with the kids in the house and then awake. So that was a really easy project. All of this is really very easy, and I love I don't know if you could tell, it's got I-cord edging around here. I would like to do one with the, I think they're the balloon sleeves, like in the pattern. I would like to do one of those as well. That's just a lot. In my size, and I know in a lot of folks kind of feel the same way, it's a lot of yarn, and sometimes a lot of money to make a sweater in my size. So I tend to not make like full length arm sweaters, most of the time they're just, t-shirts, and I get hot pretty much as soon as I walk out the door. So I tend to just make like short sleeves. So, and actually I went through my sweaters this week. I wanted to remind you guys, I posted a picture on my Instagram. Once again, it's knitting downsized, of all of the sweaters that I have, and you'll see them as the year kind of goes on. Most of my sweaters are worsted weight, and they're usually pretty woolly wool. So I won't be wearing them probably until November, December, unless we get a cold snap. But I have a picture of all of them kind of laid out on our bed, and I was in the middle of trying to figure out where to put them in this camper. This camper is, I think it's about 10 feet longer, and we have tons more space as far as square footage, but our other camper was designed a little bit better to where, all right, I have 30 on me. It was designed a little bit better with storage options. So in our bedroom we had all kinds of storage, and the kids had built-in storage. So it was a lot easier to store my sweaters and things. So now they're just kind of in every nook and cranny that I can put them. I wasn't willing to give up my yarn space, so I kind of smushed all of it over and put my sweaters in its place. So I did want to go over, I started the Malabrigo cowl. It started on the 3rd, and it is the Malabrigo vest, the cowl that knit along. That is the vest. It's the Seeing Spots vest by Afifa Sayeed. A gorgeous vest, and it's 2 colors. I believe I'm going to use 3, but it's 2 colors, and it has kind of what looks like lice stitch throughout, so it's just kind of a dot of your primary color throughout. So I started it. In order to be included in the cowl, you had to use at least 1 skein of Malabrigo's Solitos, and I am using, I guess, all of my skeins are the Malabrigo Solitos. So this is the very beginning. It is a bottom up vest, I guess, like most vests are. This color is Cocoa, So it's a really kind of deep brown with some really nice dimension to it. There are, because it's a free pattern, I'll disclose, there are 24 rows of 1 by 1 ribbing. So, in a whole lot of stitches. But, I mean, look how gorgeous that is. Like, I'm very, very happy with it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So I highly recommend the pattern. So far, like I've only cast on and done the bottom ribbing, but I've kind of read ahead some. I've learned to read ahead, read ahead a little bit, and it looks like a pretty easy pattern. Probably advanced beginner, probably, but there really isn't many, I guess, difficult things that are about it. So maybe a beginner, like an adventurous beginner, would be great to have a vest. So, and it's not like a V vest. It actually kind of has the curve to it, which I really kind of like. I'm excited, super excited. So this is the cocoa color in Malabrigo Rios, and I have the Frank Ochre. I'm a huge fan of mustard. Yep, it's my favorite color. And then my third color, because I'm trying to use up all the yarn that I have, I really don't want to have to buy more yarn. But I think I'm going to have to buy 1 more skein at least. Probably 2 more skeins of the Frank Ochre. Maggie has her toy. So I think I'm going to have to buy at least 2 more skeins of the Frank Ochre because I only have 2. This pattern uses a lot of yardage. Almost like a sweater worth of yardage, but I'm assuming because there is a lot of ribbing, you know, around the bottom, you know, the armholes, and then around the neck. So I'm probably gonna have to buy 2 more skeins, which I really don't want to, but you know, I'll do it, you know, for the good of the vest. So I was thinking about doing kind of the accent color. This is Living Coral, and it's very, I don't know if you can really tell. It's a very, very like bright coral orange. So I was thinking about doing that as kind of the lice stitch throughout the body of the vest, but we'll see. If I'm buying more of the Frank Ochre, then I might just buy another skein of the brown, the cocoa as well, while I'm at it. And you know, that way it'll just be a true 2-color vest. So we will see. I'm gonna finish all this ribbing. I think I only have about 6 rows left, and then I'm gonna start the body of the sweater. And it does look, it appears, based on my quick reading, that instead of colorwork, it looks like maybe a mosaic. It kind of looks like you're doing the same row twice, that you're slipping stitches. So maybe like mosaic knitting. It kind of looks like that. So once again, I haven't really delved into the pattern, you know, really dug into it yet. So I could be wrong, but it doesn't look like traditional colorwork. There's not a colorwork chart. She kind of gives you, I think it's a 4 row directions. So 4 or 5 row directions. So it's pretty easy, easy to memorize. So excited to get on that. I balled up some yarn. This is Red Cascade to start another hat for my son's school. I have not had time to hardly do much. This was almost all done this weekend. So I found a colorwork chart that is flames. So I want to do red, orange to yellow flames on the hat because I thought that would be kind of a fun hat. So I'm gonna do that for my son's school. I've talked about it here before, probably several times now. My son's school, they're a little bit lower income, and there's only 15 kiddos in my son's classroom, and I think only 60-something kindergartners. So I want to make as many hats as I can to donate to Maggie's getting underneath me. I'm sorry, she's taking it. But I want to make as many hats so the kiddos have, you know, warm heads this winter. Their playground at the school is at the top of a hill, and it gets pretty windy up there. So at least so they'll have a hat at school. I'm sure they'll take them home as well. But as a knitter, it will make me feel better to know that they all have a hat at least. I don't know if I'm going to do mittens. I don't think I'm going to do mittens. That's a lot of thumbs to do on mittens. Maybe I'll do fingerless mittens for them as well, but I just want them to be warm. We have really good programs with several churches in the areas that provide meals at night for them. There's like lots of different food pantries and different clothing pantries and things that a lot of our families I guess partake in. So they're taken care of as far as coats and food and stuff like that. So I'm very thankful that those programs exist for these kiddos. We are very blessed, very, very blessed in the scheme of things. So I did want to talk about a hat that I have done before. And because I recommend the pattern. I have worn this hat to death and I love it. It's a very nice hat if you are needing kind of like an in-between, like you've worked on a big complicated sweater or a shawl and you want something just in your downtime to kind of like be in between your projects. So this is called the Waffle hat. It's by Gail, Bable. It's a free pattern on Ravelry and I believe on Lovecrafts as well. It's a really cool texture, but it's really easy to do, which I like. But it makes a really nice texture. So you get a really cool effect for not much effort, which I really like. Once again, I can't really do much when my kids are running everywhere and I'm trying to, when you live in a camper, everything is at your kids' disposal because the sinks are lower, the oven is lower, everything is like right at their level and they tend to get in all that. So my son loves to play with water and all of the sinks in the house are like right at his level. My son is very tall anyway, and he likes to play in all the water. So I need projects like that are pretty easy, that are just a few directions, and you can do, make a really nice hat with it. So, so this was a, I think a second skein. Madeline Tosh did like a second sale a couple years ago at the beginning of COVID. I did a lot of shopping at the beginning of COVID. Everybody was doing really awesome sales and I just couldn't pass it up. So this is one of those skeins, and this I believe is the same yarn that I'm wearing, I think. I don't know the mustard color, but really cool pattern. Highly recommend it. Once again, it is the Waffle hat by Gail, Bable. And it's in a worsted, and I did this in a DK, but it's a very easy repeat for you to just add on stitches to make it a little bit bigger. So those are my projects. Yeah, I think that's about all my knitting. I haven't worked on my mittens this week. It has been nuts here. We had a pretty busy weekend. Then my husband took the kiddos to we have a free train museum in town, so they did that. And we just kind of hung around on Sunday. And Tuesday rolled around and my daughter has the stomach bug. So not fun when you live in a camper, not fun at all. And when you live in a camper, it's very hard to like separate people and to keep other people from getting it. So Tuesday, I guess early Tuesday morning, Fiona woke up very sick and was sick kind of all day. And then Wednesday, my son woke up and was sick. And then was sick all day. I sent him to school this morning because he acted like he was fine. And then Clay is, my son, doesn't really express if he's happy or sad or doesn't feel good or whatever. So when he does express like, hey, I don't feel good, our teacher knows like, I'm going to call mom. So she texted me and said that he had told her he didn't feel good. And thank goodness he did, because his belly has been upset all day long. And then at lunchtime, my husband got sick. So I am just waiting to get sick. So it's kind of that, like, I'm just patiently waiting, you know. Every time I eat something, I'm like, oh, am I going to see this again? Like, that's super gross, and I'm really sorry, but it's the life that I'm currently living this week. So there's not been really much knitting because it's just been nuts. And it's just been nuts. We live in the Fusion. It's the I guess the model name is a Fusion 424. So it's a toy hauler. So we are very blessed that we have 2 bathrooms. We have a full bath right up those steps, and then our kids have a half bath. So we are very lucky in the fact that if kids get sick and we get sick, there's multiple places to use the restroom. So thank goodness for that, because that was kind of my biggest fear. In our other camper, we only had 1 restroom. Now our neighborhood does have a really awesome clubhouse. So, but with being said that, we have a Fusion 424 once again, and it has a toy hauler. And in the toy hauler, there are connections for washer and dryer, which is amazing. And you can get full size washer and dryer. We don't have one yet. So our other camper did not have those connections, and we just purchased this camper in May. Excuse me. So we haven't bought one yet, and we've been using our clubhouses. They have a really, it's a small, like 2 small little washers and dryers. We've been using that. Well, when our kiddos get sick or something happens and the bedspreads need to be cleaned, or just a normal, like they need to be washed, I have to take them to the laundromat. So both kids destroyed their beds in the last 2 days. So I had to do that. And today, and that, it's just a hassle in and of itself to drive to the laundromat and do all that. And I guess it's very much a first world problem, you know, folks. I'm so used to having a washer and dryer. When my kids got sick, or, you know, they peed in the bed or whatever, I could just throw it, you know, in the washer and dryer. So it's such a pain that I didn't realize how blessed I was before. But I did tell my husband that we are getting a washer, by golly. I can hang stuff to dry, and because the new washers pretty much wring most of the water out of it. So I am getting a washer soon. He watches this, so soon, maybe Sunday, because I am done. I am done trying to wash things, and but yeah. So that was kind of our week this week. It's been absolutely crazy. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Hopefully, really, really praying I don't get sick. We have a really cool event on Saturday. Friends of ours purchased us tickets to an Alice in Wonderland. It's like a traveling scavenger hunt, and it's going on in Asheville this weekend. And she purchased us tickets like months ago, and we've been really excited about it. And she just bought me some Queen of Hearts tights and matching headdress and stuff. So I am super excited. But I have like this fear that I get sick downtown, and there's not a whole lot of bathrooms downtown. So yes, hopefully we get to go and we get to enjoy it. And my mom is going to come and watch my kiddos and spend some time with them during the day, because it's a during the day scavenger hunt. So they're going to spend some time with Mimi, and hopefully we are all 100% by Saturday. So we have one day. I hope. Oh my gosh. If I could just get it over with, I would be super stoked. It's one of those things, I think, as a mom, that I've learned, like, just give it to me. Let's get the antibodies, get it over with, and I'll be done. So last year, when we lived in our, I think it was a 36-foot camper, and we had a bunkhouse, so that means that the kiddos had their own end, and they actually had their own little room with a full bed and 2 twins that kind of did like an L shape at the top. So they had their own space, but they were still, they still kind of slept with us, because it was kind of a little bit far away in a foreign space, like a camper kind of is. And I had COVID in November, and it was just, sorry, my son's school is calling. We were all kind of stuck. So it was kind of one of those things that was just like, let's all get it over with and just be done. And of course my husband didn't get it because he never gets anything. I think the kids had a fever for like a day and they were done. I felt like just pure dirt for like 3 days and then I was done. So I'm hoping we can get over this and I just get the antibodies like I need and be done. Ugh, dreading it. But I'm looking forward to hopefully some knitting this weekend. Hopefully the kids start feeling better and I can really focus on, I'm very much a monogamous knitter. So I'm hoping I can work on my vest and get it working, pretty much done in the next week or two. I do need to order yarn in the next day or two as well. So there's that. So that's probably what I'm gonna work on. That and a hat or two for my son's school. So I hope you guys are having so much fun knitting and enjoying your knitting when I can't right now. I'm knitting vicariously through you and your projects. Like I said, check us out on Instagram. Follow us there. We are following through with the Malabrigo Knit Along. So knit along with us. Once again, the pattern is free. You can go to Malabrigo's website and get the pattern. You just have to use one skein of, at least one skein of Malabrigo Rios in it to join in the cow. So that's super exciting. It's a really great pattern once again. So check us out on Instagram and like and follow us here. And I think that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by and have a great weekend with your knitting and enjoy your knitting. So thanks so much. Bye.